A violent attack occurred in Amichi, Nnewi South local government area of Anambra state, where members of the Biafran Liberation Army clashed with Nigerian army and reportedly set their building and vehicle on fire. Eyewitnesses at the scene confirmed the building was engulfed in flames, pleading urgently for the Anambra State Fire Service to intervene and help contain the damage. The video showed confusion, panic and desperation as civilians called for help, unable to understand the full scale of the attack or identify the attackers clearly amid the chaos. Some critics emphasized the strategic and symbolic timing of the violence and court appearance, suggesting that May, the same month when Biafra declared independence in 1967, remains spiritually and politically significant. May 30th, 2025, marked Biafran Heroes Day, a remembrance of those who died during the Biafra-Nigeria Civil War, 1967 to 1970, and massive civil shutdowns were observed in southeastern Nigeria, particularly in Imo and Anambra states. Also, Simon Nyoku Ekpa appeared in court in Finland on terrorism-related charges on the same day, sparking intense public interest and media coverage, with some supporters hopeful for his eventual vindication. There was massive compliance with sit-at-home order, which was observed in southeastern part of Nigeria, with deserted roads, closed businesses, and inactive government buildings across southeastern states, especially in Imo and Anambra. Locations like Tetlow Road in Owerri, Imo State House of Assembly, and major junctions like Warehouse and Control were completely shut down, reinforcing the population's respect for the Biafran Heroes Day. It was the 30th day of May in the year 2025, a date deeply carved into the memories of millions across the southeastern part of Nigeria. This day carried a weight of history that couldn't be dismissed, a day known as Biafran Heroes Day. It was a day of solemn remembrance for the many lives lost during the Nigerian Civil War, which lasted from 1967 to 1970, and a day for reflection for those still emotionally tied to the dream of an independent Biafra. But this year's memorial took a grim and dangerous turn in Amichi, a town within the Nnewi South local government area in Anambra state, as violence erupted and the atmosphere of mourning was pierced by the sound of gunfire, screams, and rising flames. In the early morning hours, the streets of Amichi, which typically bustled with activity, were uncharacteristically quiet, in line with the sit-at-home order issued by secessionist sympathizers to mark the remembrance. That silence, however, was broken violently when the Biafran Liberation Army, a separatist militia believed to be loyal to the ideology of a sovereign Biafra, launched an armed assault against the Nigerian army. According to eyewitness accounts, it was not a fleeting skirmish. It was an extended, brutal gun battle that left residents scrambling for safety and confusion hanging heavy in the air. Several individuals who lived close to the scene described how it all began. First, there was an eerie quietness, then the sudden sound of gunshots that rang out across the neighborhood. People looked outside their windows and saw thick smoke rising into the sky. The smell of burning rubber and diesel filled the air. It wasn't long before it became clear that the building being consumed by flames belonged to the Nigerian army, or more specifically, what locals believed to be a military outpost stationed in Amichi. Several military vehicles, which were usually parked in front of the structure, were set ablaze. One video captured in real time showed an individual, clearly distressed, crying out for the Anambra State Fire Service to come to their aid. Their pleas were repeated over and over again, a desperate chant amidst the chaos and destruction. an independent media outlet, the visual devastation was undeniable. The camera panned across the flaming wreckage of what used to be a government facility. Onlookers could be heard trying to piece together what had happened. Some speculating that the attack was a coordinated assault by the Biafran Liberation Army, who have grown more active in recent years. The video also captured voices expressing frustration at the slow response from emergency services, especially the fire brigade, who had not yet arrived despite multiple calls. What made the situation even more tense was the timing. This attack was not seen in isolation. It occurred on the exact date when millions across southeastern Nigeria observed Biafran Heroes Day. For many, it was not merely a coincidence. It was strategic, symbolic, and profoundly disturbing. The 30th of May marked the day in 1967 when General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, then a young and fiery military officer and the military governor of the eastern region, declared the secession of Biafra from Nigeria. That announcement triggered one of the bloodiest civil wars in African history, resulting in the deaths of over 1 million people, most of them civilians. Every year since then, particularly among the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria, the date has been observed with deep reverence, and it has remained a rallying point for pro-Biafra sentiment. This year, the 30th of May was loaded with even more tension than usual, because in faraway Finland, Simon Nyoku Ekpa, a controversial figure and self-proclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafra government in exile, appeared in court on terrorism-related charges. Simon Nyoku Ekpa, who had previously aligned himself with the indigenous people of Biafra movement before forming his own faction, has remained an influential voice among the Biafran diaspora and among youths in the southeastern region. His activities and speeches, many of which are broadcast online, have fueled the flames of separatist ambitions and, according to the Finnish authorities, crossed the line into extremism. On this day, his image from the courtroom was broadcast and shared on social media platforms, reinforcing the emotional atmosphere of martyrdom and resistance. The simultaneous unfolding of Simon Nyoku Ekpa's court appearance and the gun battle in Amichi raised the stakes for the Nigerian government and for residents of southeastern states. The federal government has long considered the Biafran secessionist movement a threat to national security, and the Nigerian army has conducted numerous operations aimed at flushing out armed separatists. But the attack in Amichi demonstrated that the battle for Biafran independence, at least in the eyes of its most radical supporters, was far from over. Reports from Amichi also indicated that a local office, believed to belong to the group called the Asari Boys, was targeted and set on fire during the melee. The group, named after Mujahid Dokubo Asari, is another militant body that has operated in the Niger Delta and is sometimes rumored to have shifting allegiances. It was unclear whether the Biafran Liberation Army considered this group to be rivals, traitors, or simply collaborators with the Nigerian authorities. What was certain was that the attackers were not discriminating in their targets. They came to make a statement, and the fires they lit were both literal and symbolic. The eyewitness video continued with footage from other parts of the southeastern region. In Owerri, the capital of Imo State, streets that were usually packed with cars and pedestrians were completely deserted. Major roads like Tetlow Road, Bank Road near Warehouse Junction, and the popular Control Roundabout were entirely shut down. The Imo State House of Assembly and the State Secretariat were closed. Even public parks, shopping centers and markets were empty. It was, in essence, a complete lockdown. The video showed young boys playing football in the middle of a highway, something only possible because all vehicular and commercial activity had ceased. In a place where even a few minutes of silence is rare, This quiet was deafening. It was the kind of compliance that cannot be forced. It was voluntary and widespread, driven by a deep cultural and emotional allegiance. Some critic made it clear that this kind of total shutdown was proof that the people of the Southeast still remembered the past and perhaps even hoped for a different future. He mentioned the historical significance of May and how everything seemed to be happening in that month. Simon Nyoku Ekpa in court, the remembrance of Biafran heroes, and now an armed confrontation. The insinuation was spiritual, almost prophetic. He urged viewers not to ignore the pattern, not to treat these events as isolated occurrences. It is worth noting that the response from Nigerian security forces, at least in the immediate aftermath of the attack, appeared to be cautious. Soldiers and police were reportedly deployed in Amichi, but eyewitnesses said that most had retreated to more secure locations to await backup. There were no official statements from the Nigerian army within the first 24 hours, leading to speculation about the extent of the casualties and damage. Some believed that the authorities were trying to control the narrative, while others feared that another wave of military operations might follow, one that could further endanger civilians in the region. For many who have lived through years of unrest in the southeast, what happened in Amichi was not just another violent incident. It was a painful reminder that the conflict between the Nigerian state and the idea of Biafra has never truly ended. The Biafran Liberation Army may not have the same structure or numbers as a conventional military force, but their presence, their weapons and their tactics have become more brazen. And with increasing access to social media, their message spreads farther and faster than ever before. As the flames in Amichi were finally brought under control, largely due to the intervention of local residents who formed a makeshift fire brigade using water buckets and sand, the damage left behind was impossible to ignore. Charred walls, scorched earth, burnt vehicles, and the smell of smoke lingered for hours. Families who lived close to the building were forced to evacuate. Children cried in confusion. The elderly shook their heads in despair. No one could say for certain what would happen next, but one thing was clear: the events of May 30th, 2025 would not be forgotten. The sit-at-home order that paralyzed Imo and Anambra states might be seen by some as a nuisance or even an illegal disruption of daily life. But to many of those who observed it, it was a sacred obligation, a moment to honor the memory of the fallen and a gesture of defiance against a government they believe has not addressed the region's historical grievances. And yet, the tragedy of it all is that even as people sat at home in silence, violence erupted in their backyards. There was mourning and resistance, memory and destruction, all in the same breath. It's also impossible to separate the violence from the digital world. Videos from the scene spread like wildfire on platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. These images, unfiltered and emotionally raw, served as powerful propaganda tools. Supporters of the Biafran cause saw them as evidence of Nigerian government oppression and resistance by the people. Critics saw them as examples of the danger posed by armed separatism. And the Nigerian government, as always, found itself trying to balance between restoring order and preventing the flames of rebellion from spreading even further. The coming days were likely to see an intensification of security operations, not only in Amichi and Nnewi, but across the entire southeast. Already, reports were filtering in of increased checkpoints, arrests, and surveillance. The Nigerian army, already stretched thin by operations in the northwest and northeast, was under pressure to regain control and reassure the public. But in a place where loyalty to the Nigerian state is thin and often conflicted, force alone may not be enough. What happened in Amichi was not just a gunfight. It was a collision of memory and modern resistance. It was a story of a community caught between the pain of the past and the uncertainty of the future.
This is what happened now. I'm here at the scene now. I'm here at the scene. I'm currently at the scene now. No be small thing. These guys were here. What was happening? I'm trying to. God. This is AVG office now. It's currently on fire. They really terrorized this place. Please, we need the Anambra State Fire Service at Amichi now. Anambra State Fire Service, please, if you are on Amichi platform, share this video now. Share this video now to Anambra State government. AVG Amichi is currently on fire. Please, we need fire service now. We need assistance. We need what we can need to put out this fire. We need what we need now to put out this fire. We need fire service we need fire service now. We need fire service now, please. Please, we need fire service now. We need assistance. We don't even know what's going on. We don't even know what is at stake, but we need to put out the fire now. We need to put out the fire now. We need to put out. Please, if you are watching this video, share it. Share it now. Share it now. Share it now. Share it now. Please share it. Share it to people that you know that can help Amichi now. Nnewi local government area of Anambra State. Amichi is a town. It has a common boundary with Nnewi. So please, all the security personnel, Nigerian army, you don't even know what's going on. We don't even know what's going on now. God help us. Don't be small race, so I tell you. That's not a way put now. Okay, says Yamawena. Kezu's asked to you, baby shop. Now, wow. We are now, we are there. We don't even know what's going on now. I better go. When on Azmoto? Hey, now wow. Come on, Doji. Please share it. We need the fire service at Amichi now, please, to put out the fire. If you are watching this video, please share it. Buchi, all are there for your house, so I tell you. Please, people that has contact, please start making calls now. We don't even know. I'm hearing that someone is at the back of that bus. Now walk now, mad on as boss and walk now. I don't really know. I can't verify that. But they're trying to put out the fire. Kamaloya Balokweba. Mad on as I had this feeling this morning, God. What kind of...
Boss all na car. Boss gole. The malak ulu ana anu ya na amore na the thing sloping like this now. E ba ka cross. Na le ko he mega no ko le na. No ma go like this. Tanka just gbafe kwa just na ruteza ma ngire ga kwatu tanka here na ni ụlọ izu ha ka ya na boyle kwa ọkụ boyle kwa ele chemical obi here sef ya wo fuel maka ya wo fuel is edition of fuel. Yeah, they got chemical. Look, I will not fuel. I'm ya galafa. Okay. Mother, you remember that? You got a potabe. Why? Who caught you? That means the driver. No. I'm going to go to the motor now here. Immediately stop. Boy, okay, we back up as yourself. We back up as yourself. So why you put it like this? Okay, it's more than a
So you can see today 30th May 2025. This is Owerri. There is total compliance. Today's Biafran Heroes Day remembrance. So there's a total, the road is scanty. In fact, there's a total scanty. And this is the National Library. This is Imo State Secretariat, State Secretariat. You can see it. There's also total compliance. You can see it. So you can see it's also dry. So everywhere is locked and key. This is Imo State Secretariat. So there is a total observation. See, this is Imo State House of Assembly complex. Total observation as well. So the government should stop deceiving people while they also send a signal of compliance. This is Imo State State Assembly complex.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.